So I wanted to make a video because I want to, and I mentioned in the last one, I want to kind of conquer my fear of exposure and visibility. I want to make more videos, even when the controlling parts of me don't know how or what I'm making a video about. So it makes it impossible to control how I'm perceived, which messes with me, but in a way I think is going to be ultimately useful. So I can't tell you how useful or interesting this video is going to be, but I want to make a video today. I have no idea what I'm going to be talking about. And I feel frustrated at the level of difficulty I'm having with making videos lately. It's frustrating because there's things I actually really care about, and a lot of them I'm realizing I haven't actually articulated to an audience before. And so I'm struggling to kind of like come up with or communicate it in a way that makes sense. Let me tell you something about myself. I realized, I had a conversation recently where I realized that one of my core values, one of the things that's most important to me, is responsiveness, which is an interesting value. Responsiveness it's not one of the things you often see on like values tests. Responsiveness is the capacity to respond to what's there. How does one respond to what they're experiencing, what they're seeing, hearing, sensing, etc.? My modus operandi is I will be constantly paying attention to my felt experience, what I'm experiencing and perceiving right now in this moment, and I will be responding to that. And when it comes to making videos for an audience, it is hard to know who I'm talking to and what I'm responding to. Instead, I'm just kind of maybe responding to my own thoughts and making this video, and it gets kind of like weird and twisted. It would be much easier if I was making a video in response to something else, which seems like a good idea, and maybe I should in fact do that. But yeah, responsiveness is a really important value to me. I have some other interesting values too that I imagine I'd love to meet other people who have these values. But another value I have is depth. So I have a value of responsiveness and I have a value of depth, which is to say that in a conversation or in life, I would rather I'm always kind of trying to notice if I'm in a caught in some kind of like story or surface level experience of life, and see what I can do, say, feel, experience to take myself down a level into a deeper experience of this moment. And usually that involves feeling something. So noticing or feeling something that's here. You have to, it's a kind of a metacognitive skill. You got to like pause and notice, hey, what is the context I'm in right now? How does that feel in my body? What can I name about the experience right now that's true that it hasn't yet been explicitly named? And doing that will often like free up something or connect me a bit more deeply to myself. So depth is another important value I have. I have another value of inclusivity. So inclusivity in the deeper sense would be, I have many parts. I'm quite a complex human with many parts of me that all have voices. And what I'm constantly trying to do is include, in like a holistic way, include all of the parts of myself in my expression, in my thinking, in my experience. I don't like getting lost and consumed by a single part of my experience. I will quickly try to make the embodied move of like stepping out whenever I'm caught in something, so that I can again be with the whole of myself. So I like to include and honor all of the parts of me. The challenge with including all the parts of yourself is it's easy to get lost in complexity. It's easy to, if you have many parts, it's easy to like have one part dominate. It can sometimes be hard to hold all the complexity and without getting lost, and knowing, like really trusting myself that, okay, I know where life wants to take me now. I know what the next move is, the next step is. So I certainly have a value of inclusivity. I definitely have a value of connection, and I talked about that on the last video I made. So I won't belabor the point, but connection is a really important value because it's what makes life fulfilling, basically. Like feeling connected to yourself and others is like, you know, that is the experience of rich depth, meaning, fulfillment. Feeling disconnected and also interconnected and kind of unified with everyone, as opposed to disconnected and kind of lost to yourself and isolated. These are not experiences that, unless you're connected with your isolation, it's kind of tricky that way. But connection is an important one. I'm super curious about my experience and about being able to have a deeper and deeper experience of what is happening. But I'm not just curious about feelings and stuff like that. I'm also really curious about everything. Intellect, noospheric stuff. I love that word, noosphere. The thought space. And the other day I was on ChatGPT and I went on just a curiosity binge from one topic to another, having the thing reframe and asking it questions about like supply chains and how the electrical grid works, and I don't know, just like topics. I was interested in infrastructure that day. I wanted to know like how I started like, where does society, how do the products get to my house, like what goes on, and then I ended up just going super rabbit holey down a conversation with an AI. So I love ideas too. I'm not just interested in the present moment. I'm also interested in lots of ideas. And I'm very creative I love connecting ideas, and I just really enjoy the experience of having insight and having creative breakthroughs and being kind of lost in that flow. It's one of my favorite experiences. And so creativity is a really big value of mine as well. So this was surprising. I ended up talking pretty much entirely about values. I do have and my values have shifted over the years, but I do have other values. I do really value authenticity, for people to say what they feel and what they think, even if it's challenging, vulnerability in that. I have values of integrity and honesty, openness. Like I value people and inquiry. I really value open, honest investigation about whatever it is that we're talking about. And I value a systemic, holistic, that's the inclusivity thing, but I really value high level, big picture stuff, and being able to see what's there in the entire system, whether the system be like an ecosystem, like a natural ecosystem, or a system, an engineering system, like a software system, or a system of people in an organization. Like what are the bottlenecks? Like where are the resistances? So I love that stuff too. So that's it for my values. I hope this was fun, and see you on the next one. Bye-bye.